So, people deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you've all got a spring in your step. I hope you're all smiling as you can, Arsenal fans. In what has been a rainy season, we can enjoy the sunshine for a day or for 24 hours. We all know we beat Chelsea yesterday. It means nothing. They have the last laugh because they're in cup finals. We're going to sit here and say, oh, at least we beat this team and that team. But we'll get onto that throughout the stream, just the course of the live stream. Better yet, or better than that, I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night where appropriate. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all in good spirits. Eid Mubarak to my people, them that are Muslim and followers of Islam. Hope you're enjoying it. You've had a tough Ramadan and things like that. So take in Eid and enjoy yourself. And obviously free Palestine each and every time. And you get me, people. One thing I love about football, don't matter what race you are, what background, what sex, and all these things, we all come together. So I always try and make a point of highlighting religious festivals and things that some of you are worshipping. And if I don't, because I'm not the most knowledgeable, clue me up on it, people. But as I said, I hope everybody's well and safe. Get the likes up. I see 40 of you locked in. I see about 40 likes already. So I don't know why you lot are so excited to hear me waffle, but I appreciate it. And obviously, check out the pinned message, especially for my members. Them is Q&A Friday tomorrow. We're going to do a live Q&A. I think it's scheduled for 2 p.m. I ain't even done a thumbnail, but make sure you're there. Members, please get your questions in. Check out the community tab. Even if you don't think it's a sensible question, get it in. I haven't seen none of the questions. Last time I checked, there was 14 of them. There's no such thing as too many questions. Members, them, please go and do that. If not, then it's going to be a short Q&A in it. I can't ask myself no Mazzolinis and all that saddle stuff. But big up everybody's locked in. Where's my manners? What are you lot saying? Elle is saying, told you, DG, my guy, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Bro, what's the lottery tickets? Because if you know the future, then we all need to put some money down and we can get Kroenke out this club, my dude. But on a serious note, you was right. You had confidence. I wasn't confident in Arsenal, And that's not, I can't be faulted for that because I'm sure you'll agree because I can only go on what they showed me. But they showed me something to isolated to that game, get behind, and we're gonna get into it. But we did our thing, people. We did what we needed to do. We're a weird team, If you go from December to now, we're probably third in the league table. I don't buy that crap because the league starts in August, and where would we be if Smith Rowe was blooded in, if Odegaard was on loan in the summer, if we played Mesut Ozil, if we brought in a creative man, Yesterday kind of showed us what we already know, and that we know we can play these big games. We know Arteta can coach for these big games. He's done it in the FA Cup. He's beat United, he's beat Spurs. He's won these isolated top 6 games. His top 6 record is great. But the problem, I'm not even going to say that's not a problem, because until Arsenal can go into a City, a Liverpool, or any of these games and be truly confident, not confident based on the evidence we've seen, but be truly confident, we've got a long way to go. But we know our problems is, the league. In 30 odd games, we've played 36 games. We've had 35 different lineups. As I said, it's like a burger. People see the top of the bun and the bottom of the bun, but what makes the burger is the middle being our season. As much as I appreciate what Arteta's done, for not to criticize him, it's just a fact. For every time it's gone right, there's been games like Wolves, like Villarreal, where we've gone, hey, what's going on here? Why did we do this? Why did we do that? When it all comes together, fantastic. But these things have been too far and beyond. So we know we've got a long way to go. We know our team's in the mud and things like that. We've got a very long way to go. We know we can turn up in big games. It's just about having a game plan against the smaller teams, being proactive against the smaller teams, because I think yesterday we was proactive and reactive, in my opinion, in that we was proactive in the sense of we know the threats that Chelsea can carry. So we worked all week on defensive shape and stuff, and we're going to get onto that throughout the course of this video. We was proactive in that. And then when we get to the 90 minutes, we're reacting. We reacted for the goal. Yeah, in the second half, we had a half chance, Bellerin of all people in the final third. But we was reactive. We reacted to a mistake and we did what we needed to do. No problems with that, in my opinion. But it's already what we know, really. We know this already, and that we can turn up in these isolated incidences. The problem is, that's probably what 5, 6, 7 games, if that, there's however many other games to be played. So it's pointless. And it's like what I call, it's winning a battle in and amongst the wars. Like we can sit there in May, finish in 8th and say, yeah, we beat Spurs, we beat this, we beat that, but we're not having the season we've had. And obviously there's still a chance of Europe. I know some of you are going to be optimistic. For me, it's down to the players. I think it's gone. Crystal Palace and Brighton are going to be tough. Shout out to Thomas Tuchel for allowing us in this game, but it is what it is, people. And I've jumped the gun a bit, people. I've jumped the gun, so I might as well cover the first bit of my live stream, people, in relation to what I want to talk about. So let me share my screen. obviously, while that's not what I'm trying to share with you, you know, come get your ish back, Chelsea. We did a drilling in it, you know, come get it back. But like I said, people scrolling in, big up my guy L, and like he said, Eid Mubarak, and like Omar said, Eid Mubarak as well, man. Big up all the Muslim viewers, them. But for me, people, like I said, people, well, what comments that? I think this is more for general comments, but like I said earlier, people, we can set up to be proactive in defense and reactive to what the opponents happened. You know, we can react. We've gone into games. You know, there has been incidences. I say the reverse fixture. I think we were actually proactive, but we've gone into games where we've reacted, where we've taken advantage of an opposition's mistake and exploited it. I swear we did that against Spurs for I'm sure Lacazette did that against Spurs. Davinson Sanchez made a mistake. Fair enough. We know we need to create more. We know we need to strike more. We know we'd like to go out and be a bit better in that regards, people. This is more, I'll cover this again throughout the course of the live stream because I want to speak tactically. But yeah, man, it is what it is. We were, like I said, we were proactive and yet reactive to what our opponents want to do. You want to see what we can do more. But for me, these performances are too rare and the 38-game calendar does not lie. Like, bro, fair play for you're not taking 4 points off United, taking 6 points and doing the double, first side to do the double in a hot minute since 03 or something against Chelsea. Fair play for beating Spurs. I can't even tell you how many times we did that, but the thick of it, it's all about, you know, I need to see something when you're going against Wolves, when you're going against Villa, when you're going, you know, to Leeds at home and away. Fair play, we beat them at home, I believe, but you get the point. You know, and again, when it's isolated incidences, then you can chop and change. You can go free at the back. You can do a little thing with Saka. You can bring man in that won't be brought in. But in the thick of it, we need a consistent defensive partnership, consistent fullbacks, consistent centre mids, consistent forwards. Obviously, the manager is allowed to use his team as much as he wants. And our goal is to get a squad. But right now we need an 11. But we haven't got that, people, you know. We're great at when we're the underdogs. Because going into the game, we were the underdogs. We were reactive. We set up. We remained rigid. We frustrated Chelsea. As I said, the only things you can really criticize this current Chelsea team at this moment in time under Thomas Tuchel is literally individual mistakes. Like you saw, Jorginho had a brain fart, you know, and I can see maybe why Arteta wants him, because it seems like we love midfielders who can make mistakes like that. He's done that. He's made mistakes twice against us. On a serious note, Jorginho's a baller, but we're great at being the underdogs. The problem is Arsenal, well, to be fair, the way we're playing, we're going to be underdogs 9 times out of 10, but you know, we need to be proactive. You know, in the thick of it, we're not going. There's not too many times we are going to be the underdogs, people. If you get what I'm saying. What should I call this timestamp before I forget? You need the result is great, but we need clarity over Arteta's tactics consistently. I would say that, people, because again, Arteta has shown he can go into games. He can, like I said, he can plan for something in a week. He planned for something. Nothing in that game that Chelsea threw up put a spanner in our works. Then you would have seen it, people. He can plan for something and execute it. He can be an underdog. He can study an opponent. But now, obviously, with the squads players we've got, it's not really possible. But now you want to see a blend of that and also about what Arsenal can do, really and truly. But it is what it is. It's like I said, yesterday isn't going to teach us anything, people. You know, we can, you know, I've seen that you can be proactive, but can you have clarity in what you want? Because Mikel Arteta can say spirit, fight, determination, all those buzzwords are what you want, but I still don't know what Arsenal Football Club, specific to your identity, is what it's about. And whatever way I shape it, a team is a reflection of the manager. I personally feel we got his tactics spot on. People can say there's lack of tactics. People can talk about Chelsea and whatever, but let's be real. The Arsenal, we have improved defensively, even though I don't like using that, but we put in a shift. You know, there was something there. Let's be real. People can say it was boring, it was this and that. What the hell do people want Mikel Arteta to do? We go out there and we be mad attacking and we get smoked, then what? You know, to get, and I know the win doesn't mean much, but that's the point. So yeah, we're great when we're underdogs, but that's not enough, man. You know, we're not going to, I should really put, we're not going to be underdogs too many times a season. Based on the way we've been playing, we are. But again, you're not going to get that. You need to put your marker down. And that's something I haven't learned with Mikel Arteta yet, people. So that's just something I wanted to say. I can't lie, man. Next, I want to get onto the fans. But just before I do that, let me take in what you guys are saying, because I went off the schedule I wanted to go off. We're going to speak about Aubameyang. We're going to speak about Arteta. We've got a long while, people. You know, we're typically here for an hour or so. Just everybody just cool. We're going to get there, man. Mr. Adlib said, yo, DJ, have you seen the reports that Smith Rowe and Tierney both want assurances that Arteta will be the manager of Arsenal before they sign new deals? No, I haven't. And they're entitled to demand that. Obviously, that's based on what you've just said. That's obviously a tick in Arteta's book in that he keeps the players' faith and things like that. I personally read that as there's speculation over the manager's future. Is he the man long term? If not, who are you bringing in? What is the team trying to tie into? Because, yeah, you can say me and Saka, in Smith Rowe's case, it's a Haaland thing. Gabriel isn't that much older. Tierney's about and things like that. But on the face of it, the core of this squad, with exception of Aubameyang, who's an anomaly because obviously he's been scoring, you've got aging players and inconsistent players and players that are not cut up the task to get top four, really and truly. So they're entitled, but I just think that means who's going to be the manager and what we're trying to do moving forward. Smith Rowe needs a new contract yesterday. Needs some more zeros just for doing it against the boys in blue. Big up everybody locked in, man. I appreciate everyone. Nathan, I'm blessed. Peter, I hope you're good. Tim, I appreciate your work rate, man. You're always in the live chat. CS, people, what up, DG? Love the shows. That's not my intro, but love for that, my guy, man. Let's get 300 plus in the chat. I'm not too sure we're going to quite get that, but nonetheless, let's run up the likes. Where are we at in terms of likes, man? 97 likes, people. 149 of you locked in. So come on, let's get that into triple digits. We can do a lot better than that. He sets us up well. We won't get beat 3-4-5s like under Wenger's, but his man management is atrocious. I see pluses and negatives against his man management, and there's been times where we bordered along that. But I do agree with what you're saying. We set up negative. I'd be very frustrated as a striker in this team. Typically, game in, game out, I'd be frustrated. But isolated to yesterday, I don't think there's anything to be frustrated about. Obviously, we would have liked more shots. We would have liked more opportunities. Once again, you know, we're relying off individual moments for us and to win games like against West Brom or individual brain farts from Chelsea. But what I will say is, while that I believe that to be the case, we can't account for Chelsea being poor. We can't account for Chelsea switching off. You know, we can't account for Thomas Tuchel making changes and then saying that he shouldn't have made the changes. That's nothing to do with Arsenal, and they've all played parts to it, but Arsenal have won because Arsenal have won. We can't account for Chelsea's poor finishing. Let's be real. You know, Leno bailed us out a couple of times, Gabriel and Holding with some important blocks. You know, Havertz should have finished his dinner. People can say Chelsea gave the result to us. You know, Gabriel and Marie, mainly Gabriel, they tried to hand something to Chelsea. Havertz just didn't take his dinner. Smith Rowe did. One cost us free, one was free, one was 90 odd million. Guess which one's which? I love Havertz, but it's agendas, man. Them boy, they play for Chelsea, so we're on to them. I'm not going to lie, though. I think fans need to calm down. And please listen to me specifically, people. What I mean by that is, it just feels like fans in all aspects, especially, I can only talk about my club Arsenal, but football fans, we live in an extreme. It's either yes or no. It's either in or out. It's either this or that. It's never two truths can live in the same realm. You know, I think many people can understand Arsenal's tactics are atrocious. Arsenal toothless in front of goal. It's not how we want to play. You know, the game, quote unquote, means nothing because we're not playing for top four. I don't like to do the is buts and things, but if we didn't piss about numerous times this season, maybe that Chelsea game could have meant a bit more because again, they're going to get top four, but mathematically it's still possible in that regards. I understand and condone a lot of this, but why can't I consider this, comprehend this, but still be happy about the team? I'm seeing fans, some fans are way too excited, some fans are all negative. Oh, the win means nothing, this and that. Of course it means something. There's no bragging rights, but we beat Chelsea. We won a football game, you know, simple as that. We won a game, you know, our team won in the derby. It is what it is, people. We know it's appalling, but I do think fans need to be a bit fair. You can't criticize the manager, the players, the clubs, and not check what your own doing. You know, I think a lot of it isn't fair. Do I like Arteta's tactics isolated to that game? On occasion, when it comes to it, yes. Do I like the toothless nature and the reactiveness of it? No. But at the same time, what the man want him to do? You know, I still think we can play a lot better to an attacking potential, regardless of the players that are here. But we're at where we're at with these guys. It's not going to change this season. So why not double down on what we're half decent at and kind of exclude what we're bad at? We can't go to Chelsea and play them off the park. What? maybe we'd had a 10-minute spell where we're onto them. Well, fair enough, we did at the Emirates, but we're onto them, we're playing ball, and then they counter-attack us and cut us up. What do you want, man, to do? You, man, cried for adaptation of tactics. And don't get twisted, this ain't no Arteta defense. This is just me saying, fans, you got to be a bit fair now, innit? You know, you've got to be a bit fair. Isolated to that game, the tactics worked. You can say there's a lack of tactics, but there clearly is tactics. We've set up in a 5-4-1 off the ball and many different variations of such. There was something to it. You know, it worked. The problem is, as I said earlier, for every time it works, there's a million cases this season where these things haven't worked. You know, it worked with Smith Rowe and Odegaard. Sometimes it hasn't. You know, it might have went left with Saka in the right, quote unquote, right wing back role. You know, it could have went left. It could have, you know. Couple of mistakes from Partey and Gabriel could have paid this team, but coulda, woulda, shoulda is not facts. Facts is we won. I just think fans need to be a bit fair. Like I said, I'm not happy with the tactics generally, but we won the game. The tactics work. Credit where due to that 90 minutes. Critique a man historically on what he's doing. You know, man are saying it's not an Arsenal performance and things. Yeah, it's not. But we also say we want our team to win dirty. And let's be real, over a 38-game calendar, I definitely don't want to see that. But there's going to be periods where this needs to happen. This is what happens. Yes, we rid our luck at times, but this is what's going to happen. Fans need to rein it in a bit and be a bit fair. For me, you can't sit here, criticize the manager, criticize the players, criticize the club, and not check your own stuff. I'm seeing other fans getting at fans for just being happy, you know. Away from just bragging, not even bragging rights, just little banter. It means nothing, but we won a game. Let's be real. We're in the business to win games, and we've done a double over Chelsea. And I'm not happy with this season, but we need to rein it in a bit, humbly, respectfully, in my opinion. You know, and it is what it is. 100% right. We don't have a consistent starting 11, which is what we need next year. We need it. We need depth as well, because if Partey is part of the starting lineup, if something happens to Partey at this moment in time, like, you know, we're back to square one. The same can be said for a couple of others. But Els, you're right, man. You know, first things first is getting a certified 11, you know, that we can believe in. EG, have you seen the picture circulating regarding points earned since Christmas? Arsenal are third on 41 points. We need to iron out individual errors and build upon the youth coming through. I agree with the two things you said, and we need to improve. For me, I've seen it, my guy. I comprehend it. I hear it, but it's irrelevant to me because the league starts in August, man. Like, I'm sure every team could probably, with exception of a few, could find a month they've done better. The league don't start then, you know. Individual errors, clarity over tactics, playing squad, they've all played a part, man. You know, facts is, we're at where we're at. You know, I'm not getting at you, Mike. I have seen it, but fans are finding luxury of it. There is some negative and underlying statistics that are concerning. You've seen the groundbreaking records we're smashing in a negative sense. We've also obviously seen there are some positives, like you said there. Our away record is good defensively. I don't think we've improved defensively, but we have at the same time. It's not to the level I would like to see. So we have, but it's not enough. You know, there's half a dozen of one, 6 of the other, and all of those sort of things, man. It is what it is. But for me, the league isn't till Christmas. Since Christmas, you know, Christmas we went into that getting smacked up. You know, since Smith Rowe's come into the team, we've been third. You know, and again, I have to get Arteta. Where would we be if you, as collectively as a club, made a decision over Mesut Ozil? Where would we be if you tried to get in not Odegaard, because the times were different, but get in that sort of creative man? Give Smith Rowe an opportunity. Where would we be? I don't know. We can't. We can only speak hypothetically, and of course, we could say we could do better. But boy, because really, when I look at it, it's more the mentality, because we've not gone into games with the mentality. Forget how we've played, just the mentality to be switched on, and everybody won their individual battles yesterday. Everybody played well. That should be the minimum. I shouldn't praise you for being switched on. I shouldn't praise you for getting it. Bear these things I shouldn't praise these footballers about. And until these things become a minimum, and that's for Arteta to install, but for these players, whether they're coming into this club or not, for them to take heed. How you feel about the summer? I don't know what to feel, because I don't know our plans. You know, seeing is believing, man. You know, seeing is believing. Apart from that, then I don't have a clue, really. They can tell me that we're going to do the business, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the third, but man, have to show me something. Like yesterday, I had no confidence with the Arsenal game, and again, it weren't a pretty performance, but how they kind of started gave me a bit more confidence. If you show me something to work with, something to work with, then I'm all behind it. Bellerin was cooked in less than 30 minutes. He played decent, but heavy-heartedly, he still needs to go. Bellerin needs to go, and I think Bellerin played well in his cameo, man. He actually, you know, in an attacking phase of play, we're saying Odegaard's let it down, really, but he's calm in that regards, man. Yo, DG, I messaged you on Twitter. Can you reply, please? I don't know how you've messaged me. If you well, you can't. Well, you can DM me if I'm not following or whatever, because I get the thingies. I got the message request, but my thingies are off. What's it regarding, broski? But yeah, I'll check that in a sec still. But we move, man. We keep going. We keep going. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Just before I continue, obviously, I'm being a bit lazy, so it's a quick message from sponsors. Big up, everyone. Check out the message in the live chat, and obviously more information is in my description if you wish to pursue such. Since Smith Rowe started playing for us, we're third. Speaks volumes about the kid. It does, but let's not put too much expectation on him. It just, for me, it just means play your best players, play players in their right positions, play players with clarity. It looked like players had clarity over what every individual player looked like they had clarity over what Arteta wanted them to do and how it ties into the collective. You know, too often than not, it looks like I can see what, like the false nine, I see what Arteta is doing, but it didn't look like you've told every one of those players what they need to do and how their job affects other people. Do you get it, man? That's it for me, man. I appreciate that. We're moving. I appreciate that. Shout out to the sponsors, you know, and the only sponsors to mess with a guy. We definitely need a right back, 100%. Please don't spam people. DG, what do you think about Arsenal signing Gravenberch? Bro, if you've been rocking with me from the jump, I've been singing that man's praises. I would love to get this guy at the club, but it is what it is, isn't it? Them ones there, you got to try and move before they're 16 and try to cheat the system, because all the big boys are at them, man. So please make sure you hit the like button, people. Obviously, you know, Tim is pushing that one. We heavily lean on our young players, and our experienced players aren't leading / playing well on a consistent basis. Ty, that's it. You know, I shouldn't have to, because there's been plenty of times where, you know, Smith Rowe and Saka, they've stood up to be counted. They've made the difference. Equally, there's been times where they've not quite been at it, where they've needed to be taken out the firing line, where they've needed to look around, and I don't see it. You know, I shouldn't praise them, man, there for leading. You know, Saka and Smith Rowe, they should have, they obviously do, and fans, we comprehend it, but they should have scope to grow, make mistakes, and all of these things. Instead, they don't. And we're over relying on them. You know, we've ran Saka into the ground this season. Let's be real. You know, let's be absolutely real. And this is it, Alfie. You know, the two truths can't exist. Like, what for me, I'm not happy with Arsenal season. That Chelsea result away from 90 minutes and being able to troll Matisse, it means nothing really. But at the same time, I'm happy my team won. It's like you're either or. It's not making sense, man. But football brings out mad emotions in people, innit? Like, football's not a rational game, and pardon me, all those sort of things. I just think we've got to be a bit fair, man. I wouldn't say I'm getting bread. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying, though. I would love Coop Miners. I mean, I've made a video on such, man. Teleman's a bad boy footballer, but them ones there, you have to do it when he's at Anderlecht. We've been playing against him since the man was 16. Him and Dennis Pratt. More, I'm not saying to sign Pratt. I'm more on the Telemans thing, but you get the point. You got to buy these, man. And in that time, he obviously went to Monaco. Eventually, ended up at Leicester. It is what it is, man. Keep smashing up the like button. Tino, big up yourself. BG, kind of disappointed about Odegaard, worth 40 million. Changes every day, if I'm completely honest with you. I need to make this a timestamp as well. I don't know, bro. It's a I don't know. Odegaard opinion. Because for me, part of me just wants to keep him. I don't know why, but part of me is saying keep him. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Do I think if you're saying for me to buy him right now for 40 million, I'll do it, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because I don't think he's quite set the world alight. I think he's had some flutters. You know, he's played well against West Ham, Spurs. I'm sure. Did he play against Chelsea at Arsenal? I mean, yeah, at the Emirates, he might have. He's had a handful of standout games. Obviously, in the latter stages of the Europa League before we went out, he played well. I've seen little dribs and drabs. Personally, I've given him a bit of a discount because he looked a bit like overruled by things. And like I said earlier, he looks like an Arsenal player in a negative and positive light. Then he looked like he got it. Then he's had this injury and he's gone back to how I thought he was at the start. So I'm giving him a bit of a discount. I don't really know if you're over that injury, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I think he's worth 40 mil. I think there's sell-on value. I think, you know, you see the best out of him in a full season. I think he is a good player. I think he's adapted well. I think he's decent. But then I would say yes, because who else are we going to get? On the other hand, I'd say no, because 40 million, we can redistribute that elsewhere. You've got Smith Rowe to be the natural 10. You could bring in more of a modern day 10, which is actually an 8, like an hour, and people of that ilk, you know, which again, they're saying 30. Odegaard's not really justified 40. So things like that. I would say I've been underwhelmed because, again, I said it at the start in January, and I have to maintain it, I guess. I'm not going to lie, my stance has softened around the guy a bit, but I was saying I've got no sympathy or allegiances to him because you're not an Arsenal player. This is a relationship of convenience. We need creativity because we've been messing around with it. You're not playing at Madrid. You come here and show Madrid what you're on. And I think at times he's done that, but more often than not, I don't think he set the world alight. Like the Premier League world isn't talking about him. And fair play, Arsenal's team is woeful. So how much of it is he going to excel? But I haven't seen none of that really and truly. You know, sometimes I think he plays within himself. Yesterday, I think he played all right. He was obviously involved in the goal. He helped press along with Smith Rowe, but you're just wanting a bit more. Sometimes I feel he drops into areas, he plays a bit within himself. He drops into areas where it's a bit dead. Sometimes it's like he doesn't kick the ball with his chest, if that makes sense. Like it's too many light touches. I do like seeing little things like Gabriel played one calamitous pass. He started going absolutely mad. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed, more underwhelmed, more like I haven't really seen much. I haven't seen enough really. But again, I'll discount him a bit. You know, it's typically hard to join a team in January and all of those sort of things. But he's been all right, man. He's been all right. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. So, yeah, would I probably not at this moment in time go for him for 40 million again? I'd probably look to get him on the cheap again. I can't lie, man. Try to get him on another loan, see what happens. But his contract is running up at Real Madrid, and they're going to need to make a decision over him or want to make a decision over him because I'm sure they've got their own transfer business to be wanting to attend to. Big up, Luke. Morning, DG. Tierney was immense yesterday. Deserves more credit. Future captain material. Facts, bro. I can't add anything, you know. Have you noticed the best players in this team? I don't spend long talking about them. I've not, in a positive way, I've got nothing to say on Saka, Tierney, Smith Rowe. They do their jobs. Like, they do their jobs, really and truly. Yeah, Odegaard's mad young, man. Mad young. Mad young. Wait, Connor, you talking about Odegaard or are you talking about Arteta? I don't want to look silly, man. Too much money given to him, big-headed. I don't think you can accuse Odegaard of being big-headed. He looks ridiculously humble, and you know, let's be real. I don't think that's a fact. That's a thing. That's not really fair on him, man. He's too left-footed and won't use his right foot. He's had a good chance, but it fell to his right and squandered his chance. Bro, that was a poor layoff for Bellerin. You know when Bellerin's played a good pass, I'm standing by him. I think Odegaard's calm. I want him to kind of stay, but you know, I'm not going to cry if he goes back, if that makes sense. I won't say he's hit the world a lot more. He's adapted seamlessly. Think he's lacking game intelligence as well. Like in the Villarreal game, he should have dropped back to support Partey. I wouldn't say he's lacking game intelligence because I think if you actually look at him a lot, he's telling man make the press. And I don't want to just go on the West Ham game, but I defo feel, or Leicester, I defo feel he's shown leadership qualities and game intelligence. The problem is, like many Arsenal players, it's not consistently. And that's what I mean by, in a good way and a bad way, he looks like an Arsenal player. He's very cultured. He's very brilliant. He's very cultured. He's very, you know, he's got a wand of a left foot. But sometimes he looks a bit overawed, a bit, I'm trying not to use these outdated terms, but a bit soft, a bit, you get what I'm saying, man. You know, man is saying he peaked during the 3-3. We got to give. He's had injuries. The team's poor, and he's joined mid-season, so I have to give him a bit of discounts. But it is what it is. DG, who would you prefer, Aouar or Odegaard if you had the chance, bro? For me, Aouar. You know, you bring in an Aouar, you play that with Partey. Smith Rowe's got the 10 in the left wing. Obviously, we'd probably need another 10 to come through and whatnot. But both could play. But I'm being a bit greedy. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal man. I'm always going to be a bit biased towards French players. And Aouar is someone I buy him in every football manager. So yeah, man, it's Aouar thing. But I don't think man should turn on Odegaard. I still think he's certified. Big up John Wayne. Where you been, man? You've been missing. And like you've seen, there's been times you need people, man, because what I don't like about, obviously Arsenal, we're never going to be City, Liverpool and stuff, but when you've got a squad, when you've got a couple creative man, a couple decent centre halves, you can believe in all your fullbacks. Obviously, goalies, not everyone's going to be of the same level, but you've got a competent second and first choice. It relieves the pressure. Obviously, you need players to stand up to be counted. But you look at the big teams, you wouldn't necessarily say they're reliant on one man, and the teams that are, they're struggling. You know, we can't pin all our creative eggs on Emil Smith Rowe, because you've seen it. Creativity is not just down to the midfielders. The first line of our creative sequence is the goalie. Our first line of defense is our strikers. You know, we do this thing. We put all the burden on one man to score goals, on one man to get the assists, and all of these things where we know it's a long season and it's a squad game. Now, we're going to need less players next season because we're not in Europe, or at least where it's going. But it is, well, it is. Apologies, man. I still don't believe that with Aubameyang. You know, why would the man be vexed that he got subbed? He'd be like, oh, I'm on 300k or whatever he's on, man. So yeah, that's what I believe. You know, I still retain faith in Smith Rowe, but we can't rely on one man. Like, we can't rely on one man to fix our creativity, because again, and I'm gonna keep saying it, bro. I see it with Ozil, I see it with Odegaard, I've seen it with Smith Rowe. These men drop way too deep consistently. You know, way too deep, because our midfield isn't giving them the ball in the final third for them to do their thing. Sometimes I can't lie. Sometimes I do think Odegaard hides a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I do think he hides a bit, but it is what it is. You know, I have to give him the cliches of, if he stays, you see the best out of him next year and all of that sort of tosh. Big up Don CJ. I appreciate that. If Arteta stays in the job, we need, as fans, to get behind him. The Kroenkes need to back him. I believe in him. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, we've been down a long road with Arteta. I believe in him. And wait, let me make this a thumbnail. For me personally, I don't not believe in Arteta. I don't necessarily believe in him. I haven't seen enough to, like I keep saying, to sit here and say, Arteta out. I haven't seen enough to back him blindlessly, like to a degree I did with Wenger. I see a man who, it's mad, because how do I explain it? Even when listen, I'm vexed about what he did against Villarreal, because we you know, he's overcomplicating things, but I don't mind it. Away from that incident, I don't mind. I like the way his brain ticks. I like what we've seen against Chelsea. I like the isolated incidences of when it's gone perfect. I think it shows me there's something there. But what I see is a man that's a bit stubborn, a man that has a free run at this with no real criticism of him, apart from what typically comes with being a manager. I don't think Edu is sitting there and asking him to justify these questions that he's doing in the team. And obviously we've got the owners. I'll always back, you know, players that I don't like. The manager, if I feel him a lot, he'll always get the healthy amount of backing I feel I'm owed to it. I owe to them as a fan. But in terms of in or out, I haven't seen enough. And I can't lie, everybody can leave this football club, from the owner to everyone but Tierney, Smith Rowe and Saka, really. So I've seen a little bits and pieces from Arteta, but I haven't seen enough. Like yesterday, no doubt there's going to put some more optimism in fans. It's going to, you know, some fans are going to do a 360. It showed me what I know. I've said it at the start. Arteta can plan. Arteta can do the underdog thing. But I'm still here, despite the fact that he's improved our record against top 6 sides. We've got a better away record. We've somewhat improved defensively. I still don't know what Arsenal's about. So I have to go on what we're saying and what we're seeing. And that's a very reactive and defensive side. And really, yes, we know there's individual mistakes. There's players ain't good enough, but they're not a great defensive side. You know, we could talk about statistics. It's not gonna be a hallmark. And again, for me, over a 38 game calendar, I haven't seen enough. So he'll get my support. He does need to be backed. Everyone needs to be backed. But at the same time, I don't know if it's as white and black as you're backed in the market. You do better things, because you don't have 36 Premier League games and play 35 different lineups, excluding any that's been done with injuries, if there's pressure. Because we all know, and he was a man himself, he was a footballer himself. We all know consistency comes with clarity. Clarity comes with obviously working it with clarity comes with consistency. Consistency comes with clarity. They go hand in hand. When you're consistently doing something, players get confidence. They get clarity over their roles. So obviously these players are not the most intelligent. When you've got the City players where certain man, you know, Cancelo is probably better as a left back than many other out and out left backs in the Prem. You can do all of that, but some man don't understand their actual roles that they've made it as a professional footballer. So you can't drib and drab and change. And also, it's not healthy. It's not healthy, because again, you're changing week in, week out. You need to tweak things, but the framework should still be there. The consistency is there. We went 3 at the back and it was defensive, but we've also in games gone 4-2-3-1 and things like that, and it's still been defensive. That's because of our ethos. Likewise, you see with Chelsea, you see with City, you know, They're playing three at the back. They're still going forward. Arguably, City are playing two left-sided centre halves, and nothing happened. You know, do you get it? So we do need to get behind him, but the jury's still out for everybody. You know, the jury's still out for Edu. The jury's still out for Vinay. I already know what going on with Kroenke. Majority of the players, the jury's not out. You lot have been convicted and sentenced, and you're going to jail. A lot of you, the only ones that are busting case is Saka, Smith Rowe, Tierney, and a couple of that ilk people. So I do see a guy that's going to be a good manager. I do see bravery. I do see tactics, but I don't see enough clarity and consistency. And I do think there is an art in having clarity, in having a consistent centre-half partnership, left back, right back as well, and the rest of it. Yes, there's been injuries. The playing squad ain't good enough, but at some level, these things are not excuses. These things have to be done. Even yesterday, Saka, I didn't mind Saka right wing back because I knew what it isn't what it sounded like. But again, people might look at that and say, yo, what's going on there? Could you have went with Saka in his natural role instead of where Smith Rowe is and then gone with someone in their natural role? You have to ask questions. Why did you bring in Cedric and you're not using man now? Do you get it? Justify the William thing. It's all these aspects. And again, he's learning. And as much as I like him, the one thing becomes for me, if you do not put that healthy amount of pressure, if you don't surround him with proper people, if you do not get the better players, then the only one that's going to benefit is Arteta. Because like we've done with Gnabry and all these players, we're just going to be training up a next man who's going to go somewhere else, you know. He's been given been a great first job introduction into football. He's won an FA Cup. He's had to deal with good moments, bad moments. He's had a lot of response. Many experienced managers don't get this level of importance in the team. He's been head coach. All of these things are going to make him a better man, whether it's success or failure. And that's going to benefit him. That's going to benefit a potential other club. Is it going to benefit Arsenal? That's only going to happen when there's real scrutiny. And I don't know if that's going to happen, man. Arteta's going to stay in the job. You know, part of me feels keep him and back him properly and see what happens. But like I said, based on the way that this team has dragged me all season, that I'm at a point where if people stay, they stay. The only ones I care about, once again, Tierney, Smith Rowe, Saka, and people of that ilk. Everybody else, if you want to leave, you have to leave. It's as simple as that. 393 of you locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. But that's how I feel in relation to Mikel Arteta and them things there, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, man. I appreciate all of you lot. What else are you guys saying, man? Not gonna lie, I have no problem with Arteta as a manager slash coach. It's the squad that lets him down. I mean, I feel you, because I would rather give Arteta new players than these new players a new manager. But at some degree, you have to call a spade a spade. I know it's not his squad, but the vast majority of that squad, he has made conclusions over. He has integrated certain players. He has brought certain players in. He has alienated certain players. And again, for me, it's not as simple as I can sit here and say, you get better players, I'm going to see attacking football. I think he doesn't trust these players. I think he's baffled in that regards, but I haven't seen enough in it. Like I said, that's just me, Dermot, in it. I haven't seen enough to side more with Arteta than the players or whatever. Obviously, because these players have had several different managers, do you get it? But that's just how I feel, man. You know, I do think, obviously, you give him better players who'll do this thing, but you're not going to have creme de la creme players at Arsenal. And I do think, once again, a tradesman's only as good as his tools, but a good tradesman gets the best out of his tools. Obviously, it does feel like he's being asked to dig a 6-foot grave with a toothpick. So that tells you how impossible the job is and how mad it is. You know, I do think there's an air of complacency above him, and that's allowed him to do this because, like I said, I just think Arteta needs to, like, if he does certain things, man have to make mistakes. Man can make mistakes. Tactics go wrong in it. Football is like that. But I just feel if there's somebody there that's literally saying to Donny, why did you do false nine? Can you explain that? Did you think it worked? Just if he has that healthy amount of pressure, we might see a bit more clarity over what he's doing. And that might excel him to show us this Mikel Arteta that wins these big games, or the rare times we've done the attacking football and all of those sort of things. But I don't know that to be true. It's all wait and see mode for me. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. You know, I appreciate that. Members, please make sure you're getting your questions in the community tab. Big up everybody locked in. Big up my guy Trips. Real talk, DG Kroenke out. That's the only thing, bro. Kroenke out. Oh, Kroenke out. We should get onto Aubameyang, really. So let me make I keep saying thumbnail. Let me make a timestamp. Aubameyang's reaction. Oba Auba's reaction to being subbed. What minute are we at? Let's say 39, 20. But yeah, who set that up? Ollie Boy said, I feel Aubameyang is sending signs with his reaction last night. He might be. He looked vexed. And to be fair, you would be vexed because he keeps getting subbed. Like, he keeps getting subbed. But at the same time, you know, I don't think it's that deep. You know, I don't think it's that deep. Man, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying anyone in the chat, but people say Aubameyang's got money. He doesn't care. He walks around. He does that. Bro, footballers showed emotion. I like that. It's a big game. You've been working on something all week. You're the captain. You don't want to get subbed. Obviously, his ego has taken apart and nothing comes before the collective, but I'm sure he calmed down. I like that because I think he played quite well. I like that. I want man to be upset. I don't think it's that deep. Personally, I think the media are trying that. There clearly is something that's changed this season between Mikel Arteta and Aubameyang generally. When you look at, you know, being late, you know, a couple of other things before, obviously, sadly, what happened with Aubameyang's mother and COVID, there's clearly some rumblings. I do think their relationship isn't quite to the level it was when you hear Arteta's go into his house to convince him to sign the deal and all of those things. I think something has happened, but isolated to this, it's not that deep. Man want to play football. You know, every footballer should be vexed when they're getting subbed. You know, I want to see that. The man's the captain and whatnot. I don't think it's that deep. I think it's the papers trying more divisive tactics because, again, you know, a lot of them are not going to probably get the engagement levels in their clicks because Arsenal won. They can't sit here and talk about, well, they can, but they can't sit here and talk about Arsenal's lack of desire, lack of heart, do all the whole typical who needs to go and stay. Like, we all don't know which players need to F off and stay at the club. It's as simple as that. I don't think it's that deep. I'm not going to lie. He looked vexed, but he looked calm after the game, and it is what it is. You don't want to get subbed, then let's be real. He probably thought he was playing well, and I think he was playing well. He got an assist, but he might not have scored, but I think he's playing well. I think it's going to be a performance like Lacazette at Man United away, where it's not going to be remembered in May. Well, we're in May, but it's not going to be remembered, and it's not going to be in their highlights reel. But I accuse Aubameyang of not offering anything in terms of general play and being a bit feeble. I think he exerted himself very well physically, both in the air and actually with his strengths. I think he worked the line well. I think defensively he worked well. I think he put in a shift. Obviously, we want to see a bit more creativity in the obvious in our game, but yesterday wasn't a game for the individuals. It was a day for the collectives. It was a day for every individual to not let themselves down, to not let the collective down. And I think Aubameyang was well. You don't want to be subbed, you know. I want to see that. We always talk about not seeing emotion and all these things. Players show emotion. It's a madness, people. You know. I'm cool with it, really, man. I like that, man. I like that. It shows me a man cares, man. You know, he didn't score as well. You know, Sky Sports were milking it. This is what I'm saying, Ollie, man. They're making more of a deal of it, you know. They're making it more of a deal. They're focusing on my man. He should have the hump, bro. Who wants to be subbed? Like I said, everyone should do that, man. Exactly, H, man. You know, when Bruno Fernandes is subbed, the same thing. Every player, obviously, them City players probably do it as well. Nobody wants to be subbed, man. Why has it taken 35 games for Arsenal players to show some actual passion? I think on numerous times they've showed passion. I just don't think they've showed the consistency and the street smartness consistently. That's where we're at. I don't think these players lack passion. I just think they lack inspiration consistently. And I think a lot of that, Arteta is ultimately the one, but the players have got to do that. You've got to, like I said, fair enough, it was dry football, it weren't nice and things, but we stood up to be counted relatively. This should be the minimum, rather than the isolated incidences. You know, maybe not so much this. Let's go to Spurs or when we played Chelsea and when it was a more attractive football at the Emirates. We always say they showed fight, they showed heart, they showed desire, they showed commitment. I just said it earlier, like they've all not let themselves down individually and looked after the collective. That should be the minimum. You know, I always find it hard when I'm praising a player for desire, for heart, for being at it. You know, it should be a minimum. As much as I rate Tierney, Saka, Demandes, mentality, Smith Rowe the same, it should be a minimum. You know, you don't rate my consistency on YouTube, bro. It's a minimum. You know, I can't be here every day and then F off for a month and then come back after 6 months and be here consistently for 2 years and then go. That's not how it works, is it? So big up everyone. But that's my thoughts. In short, I'm happy to see he's vexed about it. I'm happy to see he's vexed. You know, I want people to be vexed. I don't think Arteta has enough. I don't want to say he doesn't have enough headaches because there's enough headaches at this football club. But in terms of picking his team, bar what we've spoken about, I don't think there's enough headaches. I think it's too easy to pick that Arsenal starting lineup. I think it's too easy for him to make subs. So I want players to play well, to want to play well, to want to be in the team. I want headaches. I want him to have a headache. I want Arteta week in, week out to be, you know, this player it means a lot to him, this and that. It's too easy, you know, it's too easy. And maybe that's why Arteta's having more of a free ride at things and doing some funky stuff in the lineup and all of those sort of things. I don't know, people. You lot would have to tell me. You lot know better than me. But yeah, man. To be honest, we need new players anyways, my guy. But I hear you, Ebby. It's never an Arteta in or out thing. My team comes before the manager. If he fixes up, that's calm. But he needs to make some serious decisions to fix things up and loosen up with the arrogance real quick. That's it, Telwood. You know, you don't do your thing, you're gone. Because really, you should be gone. He should, let's be real, he should be gone. Yes, I know Kroenke's, this, that, and the other, you know, and all of these sort of things. We know no matter what with Arteta, there's many things wrong. But based on how the season has been, any other club, you're gone. You know, more experienced managers have been clipped for less. You should be gone. So I need to see why we're doubling down on that. And like you said, he needs to learn from his mistakes and learn fast, because it just feels a bit like Danny Ceballos, where we've seen little dribs and drabs in a full season, and then you're hoping the next season, which was this year, he shows you something. So Arteta's got to get it right. You spoke about pre-season and this, that, and the other. Not that he doesn't, but he needs to know what he's working on in pre-season. Don't wake up in July and say, yo, we're working on this. You know, you need to work on patterns of play, defending, you know, midfield, how everything ties into. You're going to have to be able to make sure the nucleus of that team that happens. For Edu, you need to make sure these players that you're looking to bring in, you get them in quick as possible so that they have more time to adapt. There's no hiding place. They shouldn't, really, Arteta should be a dead man walking in terms of the job, because, again, it's a results business. But if he doesn't fix up, he's gone. We need better players, though. That's a fact. Regardless, I think everyone can see that, man. I tend to agree. Keep Arteta. We need to let this play out. Do you know what? Like, I don't want you lot to confuse me with saying I'm saying to keep Arteta or let him go. I mean, you know, we need a plan. Ultimately, he's got no reason to stay at the club based on results. But again, you sack a man, the same cycle is going to continue with this owner. You know, and again, it comes down to listen. They all fall down. Kroenke, are you giving man the money? Edu, to a degree, Arteta, but Edu and Vinay, do we know the players we're looking to bring in? Do we know the decisions we've made over the transfers? You know, because the quicker you can do that, the quicker these players can go find another club and we can work with. I don't want to see it be a pre-season where it's this guy's going and staying, that guy's going and staying, this guy's going and staying. We're not going to get anywhere like that, you know? Just in general, I'm saying I'd rather give Arteta new players, but, you know, you could give man Messi. If you're going to play Messi defensive mid and all of these sort of things, I don't know what's going on. Big ups to you, DG. Apologies, my guy. Right before I carry on with yours, let me just stop that because we're going to have an incorrect timestamp, aren't we? We're back. Big up to you, DG. Arsenal missing Europe could be a blessing in disguise, like when Chelsea finished 10th and Conte led them to the title, because he was able to focus solely on the league. Maybe, you know, I'd hope to win the league title, but I don't think it's going to be a blessing because it's going to harm us in terms of finances. And I agree with it. You know, man screams about no preseason, you're playing once a week, but I've seen us play once a week and still get slapped, in my humble opinion, man. So hopefully, but I don't know if it is, man. I don't know. Emma said, big up DG, wasn't able to catch from the start. No worries, my broski. Arteta is showing it's easy to train players when you don't have to be the fool guy. He seems to have lost the dressing room. I don't think that's fair. I don't think he's lost the dressing room yet, if he is to lose it. But I just think it's calm to play with no pressure. And I just feel for the players. One thing I give Arteta, and I've said it before, I just think sometimes, for as much as I criticize this guy, and you lot that watch me, and you, Emma, have always here, I always said sometimes it's like a man's giving you everything. He's done the tactics thing. He's spoken to the press how it should be. He's probably told you behind the scenes, and you've gone out there and effed it. You know, quite frankly, effed it. And I think they've let him down at times like that. I think too many incidences, like where, you know, it was peak going into the Chelsea game at the Emirates. It was looking peak going into this game. You know, only a couple of times when the backs are against the wall, the players seem to take heed. And for me, Arteta shouldn't have to sit there and tell them. I don't think Pep got, well, based on, you know, Kevin De Bruyne, all of these guys, they all sound like managers. You know, you don't, Gundogan, Pep doesn't need to tell them the ramifications. Historically, Liverpool don't need to be told to Klopp. It genuinely feels like Arteta has to tell these lot, or has had to tell these lot, yo, top four, this, that, and the other. Until these lot want to seize their destiny and leave their own individual footprint in football and carry themselves like they want to have their own little legacies, it's a myth. I see Saka, I see Tierney, I see Martinelli, I see a couple, man. Them man there want to leave their legacies. They want to leave their own hallmarks. I don't know. You know, until everybody's on that, you know, I don't know. Because we're now at a club where we're praising, man, individual players for being guide points for the young players and things like that. And I'm not saying that's not a good thing, but come on now. Every player in that first team in their own individual way should tell a young player what being an Arsenal player is about. You know, because if I'm real, Smith Rowe, well, Tierney and Gabriel been at the team 2 seconds. You know, Saka and Smith Rowe. You know, all these new recruits. You know, a Ghanaian international that was living in Spain's come to Arsenal. I know he knows about Arsenal, but my point being, these lot reflect Arsenal, and they've been here for collectively 18 months to 2 years. They're reflecting Arsenal more than the bulk of these players. That's just how I feel completely, if I'm completely honest. Oh, what's going on there? Pop up central. But yeah, man, shout out to you lot. Some interesting comments, man. The young bucks play for the badge, the old heads play for the check. Bro, I don't even think the old heads play for the check, because surely if you play for the check, there must be goal bonuses, you know, all different incentives. That's playing for the check for me. I just think these lot just know it's comfy, it's cozy. You know, it's a bit cynical, but I think a couple of those players, I'm sure they fight for Arteta and that, but they're looking at his way. Wenger was here more years than probably I've been alive. I've survived him, survived Emery, probably survive you. What, you got 18 months or so? I've got 2 years left on my deal, you know, depending on what this club says they're going to get rid of man in the last 2 years. It's crazy. And Joe, you've got a legit comment, you know, if fans were allowed, he would have been gone before December. I definitely feel there would have been a lot more question marks on everybody. And I have said that before. I found it a bit funny that Arteta kept crying about the fans. Like, if the fans were there, they're on to you, man. They're on to you. Very smart, man. Joe, I think that's harsh. I just think the leaders are too few and beyond. Everyone should be a leader in their own way. Not everyone has to lead. Not everybody has to lead with the shouting thing and what we're used to in England and all of these things. But I do think we definitely have leaders, man. I don't think that's fair. It's just a calamity, man. Martin, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the comments, man. What's Dave saying? Hey, look, DG. Since Partey's arrival, I've watched Arsenal's midfield meticulously, and it shows our fragilities, which need to be addressed urgently with the right attributes for us to be considered a contender again. Broski, you know that. I know that. I'm pretty sure many Arsenal fans, well, some were doing the either or thing, but we all knew you need a 6 and an 8. It's not either or. You need one, innit? You need both of them, and you can see the many frailties in our team. And once again, Arteta was a midfielder. Still ain't seen what our midfield is about. So it is what it is. Oh, Zidane apparently is walking, so that could mean something for Odegaard, obviously. We'll have to see, man. For me, the thing that kills me the most about Arteta is the lack of stylish football. Like, obviously, he's improved us defensive, but if it was a mad defensive brand of football, like I could evidently see and say Arsenal is about defensive football. I don't agree with it, but I could see it. I don't see that. I wouldn't say we're a great defensive side, regardless what the stats say. We're definitely not what I want to see, a great attacking side. So I'd say it comes to the DNA. So for me, if we knew what we was doing in that regards, and when I'm hearing man speak about protagonists and he wants to attack and these things, then I wouldn't say anything really. That's the thing that kills me, because I think if fans could see a DNA, what he tries to do, like if we could say, oh, okay, cool, you're doing this, but that left back was not good enough. When he gets a better left back, I see what he's on, or the right back, right winger, or whatever, I see what he's on. I don't really think we're seeing any of that, and that's what I wanted from Arteta. Regardless, can you just give me a base where I can say, cool, you need this, you need that. I can see you're working with the tools. It's not levels, where I still believe a lot of that rings true. But for everything I can say, you're saying, but Arteta does this, he does that, but this and that. Do you get it? That's how I feel anyways, man. That's just how I feel, man. See you lot saying, big up everybody locked in, man. Big up everybody locked in. So yeah, what else have we got to speak about? We've reacted to Aubameyang. We've got to talk about the game from a tactical point of view as well, people, before I forget. So let me actually just get through that now, people. Where are we at in terms of the time? 50, let's say 54. I've already spoke on that, my guy, in relation to Smith Rowe and Tierney. Can someone point me to where that is they've officially saw it and whatnot? Is what it is. The games are too isolated, man. In my opinion, Faddy, you're right. They're too isolated, and you're not. for me, in a 38 game calendar, how many, you know, when people say Arsenal are going to turn up on their day, I hear it, but you're not going to have too many of your days. You know, I'm pretty sure City have been blitzing teams ahead along the line, anyone that's in their way. But I'm pretty sure if you ask Pep, he'd sit there and say, I don't know. I don't know, Thingy. I don't know if this game went our way. You know, you still have to be able to pull it through, and the isolated incidences are calm. Bro, I hear that there is progress, but for every you can, I've said it before, you can find positive and negative stats to suit our agenda. And again, since Christmas Day is not good enough because the league campaign starts in August. So it's irrelevant. Like it's irrelevant. I'm sure every club could probably do stuff like that, but it is what it is. But in relation to the game, people, like I said, yeah, you might not have agreed with it, but for me, you can't really get onto Arteta's tactics. So let's look at this. This was actually what I was meant to speak about last, and I've only said the names that matter in a sense of El Nene was there. You had Marie, Gabriel, and Holding, and for those of you nerds, there's a goalie there. There was a lack of attacking football yesterday, clearly, but it did feel like we was trying some reboard diamond thing with when Partey had the ball and Odegaard. These lot were in some sort of diamond thing. So I thought I'd just speak about that. Obviously, Tierney was providing a lot of width in the game, and in reality, Gabriel was out here. I really liked how Marie stuck to his task. Holding had a good job out there. And I big up Holding for he was consistently talking to Saka. Like Saka made a good tackle around here in the first half. But do you remember when he kind of effed it against Chilwell and it went out for a corner? I like to see that from Holding. He's just telling Saka, don't watch that. Keep going. Obviously, Odegaard and Smith Rowe were very narrow. To a degree at times, you know, they were helping. I thought this was going against us at times because in this first half and more so the second, you had Aspilicueta. He recognized this to a degree and had too much time on the ball. You know, Reece James spent large periods in our half. And obviously in the second half, he went over to the left after about 10-15, but they brought on Hudson-Odoi. So I do think that right-hand side is where Chelsea were trying to score from and trying to exploit, but we did what we needed to do. Moving away from that and looking at it here, clearly, people, the task is to remain penned in. Like I said, I don't think it's pretty. I don't think it's great, but this is what Arteta has shown he can do. And to be fair with you, I would have liked to have definitely seen some chances because we only took advantage of a mistake. And Tuchel's getting very angry, saying, "Oh, I don't know the chances Arsenal would have scored if we didn't give him chances." Bro, your £90 million man was presented. You know, Gabriel was so kind to present him with a tap in, and he missed. So yeah, as much as I want to see attacking football, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you tried to go out all guns blazing, we would have got swollen whole in midfield. We would have got eaten alive. We would have got smacked up on the counter. And we all know there were several incidences where you obviously saw, you know, luck was on our side in that Mount missing, Havertz missing, Leno bailed us out a couple of times, as did Holding and Gabriel. Giroud missed kicking, hitting the bar. There was a couple of incidences, people, but it played into our hands. And I've said it before. I think one thing that helped us, Chelsea don't have a plan B. I said it. I actually, you know, shout out Matisse, but Matisse wasn't trying to hear it on my preview. You know, he was just trying to praise Tuchel. I said that anything, the way you lot are now, you make some individual errors and you can only play one way in a sense of you lot are amazing, but you're a bit like Arsene Wenger's Arsenal in that it's, you know, it's side to side, it's side to side, it's side to side, it's backwards, it's backwards, it's backwards, it's backwards, it's backwards. There's not really direct threats, and that helps us keep our shape. You know, anytime Arsenal have consistent movement, it's not happening. But you saw Pulisic dropping on the halfway line to receive the ball. You know, Havertz was staying central, but that's not him. He wants to drop in. You know, Mount's buzzing around everywhere. Mount should have had a goal. But again, the lack of real focal point is helping Arsenal. It's helping us retain our shape. And obviously, we haven't got a physical presence to be dealing with, really. So you're playing into our hands. We knew we was going to have large periods of the game where we were going to be in our own half. And I think we done all right in what looked off the ball in a 5-4-1. Again, I haven't labelled them, but we frustrated them really and truly. Moving away from that, though, folks, it did look a bit like this when off the ball as well. It did look like a 3-4-2-1, if that makes sense to you lot, in that you had these lot once again, Gabriel in real time squeezing up out there. Tierney was clearly told to provide a lot of width. Bukayo Saka as well. Partey was, you know, on the ball. Partey was the furthest one. But when we're trying to press, let me put a man here. I felt when we was trying to press, that's when you see El Nene and we're pressing as a 4 people. Do you get it? I've got it on the next slide, so I don't really want to share it. That's when you saw him drop and we went like this. In fact, this was the 4 that was pressing really and truly as expected. You know, these sort of games there, I don't mind El Nene. pardon me, is skill strength. But that's what I felt we were like off the ball. Obviously, again, I don't mind these tactics. It weren't pretty, but you had to try something, and we would have got. Of course, I would have liked to have seen a million passes, us having a go and things, but it's not. But you have to respect Chelsea, and the game plan worked in it. It is what it is. I think we have to look away from what we necessarily want, which I'm with you lot, and what's actually happened, and it worked. So it worked in it, and it's shown what, like I said at the start, Arteta can, these occasional games, Arteta can plan for these. The problem is you're not playing Chelsea in these big games every week. Then what is happening for the rest of the 38 games? Because there's clarity now. You've seen 1 minute Smith Rowe, on another day, it could have been Smith Rowe false nine and Aubameyang through that middle. But I think every man did their job. I think everyone did their job. Even Aubameyang, I think he offered a physical threat uncharacteristically against these lot. Obviously, he scored. Now, again, Chelsea presented us with the goal. And like I said, we're not creating enough. We don't create enough. We need to create. But what can we do? We pressed. Just before that, Jorginho's about to be pressed from El Nene and he's beat the press. You can see Smith Rowe just being there. I think that puts off Jorginho when Zuma plays him the ball because he's played a blind pass. Obviously, Kepa's out of his goal. I don't blame Kepa personally, but it's a calamity, people. It's a calamity, but that has come just from pressing properly, just from keeping the shape. Once again, what helped us is Chelsea can only play one way. They're very patient. They're very technical. They're not really as direct as they can be, or I saw against Madrid. So obviously, as a midfielder, you're taught don't play blind passes. Jorginho's not taking or heeded that advice. He's played a blind pass. Kepa's tried to do heroics. Smith Rowe, who was the man pressing, has just continued his run. Thiago's playing people on side. Aubameyang's done well to get onto it, and he's obviously cut back. And it's a slight miss kick from Smith Rowe, but he's done what he's needed to do. So in short, people, I was cool with the shape. On another day, I can't lie, the first thing I was going to come to was these lot people, Smith Rowe and Odegaard, because by nature, you can start them out wide. They're creative players. They want to do the techie thing and stuff. And, I did feel there was times Odegaard's having the game. It's the game we're playing in it, but Odegaard's having to drop deep and receive it here. Smith Rowe's in the half pockets. And again, I think at times we're just clearing the ball needlessly. And once again, Aubameyang's behind the ball as well, people. So it's just going back and back and back and back and back. And they're just creating patient moves and attacking us. But if I put everybody back, people, to how it was, I thought the one area Chelsea was going to exploit is this area because, I think on another day, if we watch that game again, Aspilicueta had too much time and Reece James was too high up into our field. And they tried to bring on Hudson-Odoi to kind of exploit that, and it didn't happen. So all in all, we did what we needed to do. It weren't pretty, but job done, innit? Like, it's as simple as that, people. You don't have to like it, but job done. I don't like it. I don't condone it, but the job's done. It's as simple as that. Yes, Chelsea, we can say they were poor, but I don't care how poor or good Chelsea were. I can't account for that. What we can account for is winning the bloody game of football, people. Moving away from that, or better yet, in a second, Mikel Arteta's hit back at the media. So we're going to speak about that shortly, but let me see what else you lot are saying in the comments. 441 people locked in. Please make sure that's reflected in the likes, and you're also hitting the reminder button on my next watch along, people. Tomorrow it's a Q&A business, people. 290 likes. Let's push that to 300. You lot are violating. I can't even lie to you lot, people. You lot can do better than that. You lot can do way, way better than that, folks, man. You lot are doing the guy dirty. I ain't done nothing to you lot. What's going on? What else are you lot saying just before we get into that? Problem for your girl? I don't know how I'm a problem for Arsenal. The hell have I done to Arsenal, man? The hell? How does this done anyone from me, bro? Man saying I'm a problem. What have I done but just offer my opinion? Madman, but say nothing to you, man. Like I said, ladies, if you're taking me in and you know your husband's working from home, put the headphones in, man, because he's gonna come and show himself up, man. Pulisic is certified, very certified. To be fair with you, shout out Charles Watts for saying that, but at the same time, I hear that, I applaud it, but it's like when people are wetting their pants over Xhaka. You men are meant to be big personalities. You're a centre-half, you're a centre midfielder. You lot should be some of the most vocal, and footballers should talk. I know at Arsenal we don't talk too tough, but it is what it is. I have not watched the last 2 games for Arsenal. The season is over for me regardless, but good for the team if they can bag the rest, even I'm still vexed. Well, everyone's entitled to do with what they want to do. You know, the season is over, but I'm still gonna watch my team regardless. So shout out to you, Sky. But I don't know what's wrong. What's wrong with Troy, bro? Like Troy's on a mad one, man. Absolutely mad, man. Neil, with respect, for you to ask me that, I don't think you've been listening because, like I said, what the man expect Mikel Arteta to do, we go out all guns blazing, and people would have loved to have seen that. And I don't get twisted, we could have offered a lot more, a lot more. But at the same time, nah, man, it was dead. You know, we needed to get a job. If we can't play them at their own game, maximize what we can do. It's what it is, man. Just join DG. You seen Talk Sport bashing us again this morning, bro. Fuck talk shite, man. I ain't got time for them, bro. Shout out you, Gary, but let's not feed into it, man. They're gonna talk their rubbish. You know, they accuse AFTV for clicks. What the hell did Talk Sport do? So hey, if he did, but you know, he said I'm part of a problem. Apologies, Troy, if I drew you out, but you said I'm part of a problem. I don't know how that can be said in a good way. Mathematically, we can finish the highest we can finish is 6th. You lot put your heart through that, man. Hey Troy, sorry, man. If you did mean that, Troy, I apologize, man. You caught a stray for no reason, but I couldn't read into that. It's hard to tell context when half of you are getting that man all the time, man. Oh, someone unblocking, that's deep, man. I lost a long time follower in trade. Then I assume apologies, Trey, but yeah, man, I can only go on what you said. DG, what's happening with Nelson along with Saka and Smith Rowe? He's one of our youngsters. I believe in massively. I'd love him to stay, but these are the time he should be thinking about leaving. Well, he can't have a season like last year. If that's the case, he needs to keep it moving, man. You know, he needs to play football. He needs to play football. You can't have a season like this. You're involved but not involved. You're an Arsenal player in all but name. If that's what he's on, fair play. 325 likes. Keep running that one up, people. Let's see, to close this off, what has Mikel Arteta said today, people? Getting quite hungry, and I know I'm going to be on Rance's show. I need something to yam. Where is that? So yeah, let's get into it, man. So yeah, let's go. All right, my bad, Troy, man. Shout out to you. Caught a stray, man. Caught a stray. Your life's good, man. It's all calm. It's all calm. Maybe. Oh, what's going on? Why is it frozen? Nonetheless, people, let me share my screen. It's frozen. Ting froze, but let's go, man. There's nothing. Can't really finish him about anything, man. You know, can't really finish him about anything, really and truly, man. Because our team, I can get at him. Yeah, Troy, I apologize, man. I apologize. I could only go off the sentence, man. I guess you must have been chatting in the live chat. I apologize, man. My bad, man. My bad. You see, it takes a big guy to accept when he's wrong. Apologies, man. Always feeling mad bad, man. Bro, you can't finish him. But I can get at him in relation to them Cobham youngsters. But moving forward, people, Mikel Arteta says the media tried to put things on. What did he say? I'm reading two things. Mikel Arteta said the media tried to put things on me I never said. Apparently, he hit them up, people. I'm not going to play obvious copyright problems, where he said, I don't accept somebody putting words into my mouth that I don't say. And to be fair, I feel you, because on YouTube, I don't mind you lot criticizing me. I don't mind you lot scrutinizing my opinion. But that I've said that before. My pet peeve is someone telling me what I didn't say. You can't criticize me on something I didn't say, because that's just damn right lie. So I feel you, Arteta, on that one. When it's related to my players, they're going to hit a wall. I don't accept someone putting words into my mouth that I don't say. They can try to give their opinions from the outside, that's fine. But to try to break what we have inside, there is nothing that there is not possible. And do you know what? I'm calling for a siege mentality. I do think this doesn't last, but I like that, man. This is what you lot should have been doing. Me against the world. This is what I call for. You know, fans are going to turn on you according to results. The media's on to you. You lot should all care about each other. So this is some siege mentality stuff. You know, it's too little too late, but I do like to see this sort of thing. He went on to say there's nothing broken inside the club. I think you're capping a bit. Look at the owner. I don't know how they want to try to I don't know how they want to try from the outside. They try to put things on me that I never said. You can see the spirit of the team from the first minute. You can never doubt the efforts. I don't know if that can ring true for the whole season. I said, if I don't get 120% off each player, it's my fault and responsibility. It wasn't like this in the press. I'm so annoyed by that. My players, I will defend them from everybody for the rest of the time I'm here. They don't deserve that. And I believe in that. You know, it's me against the world. I hear that. Holdings echoed his manager and he said the stuff came out in the media yesterday, which Arteta said isn't true. It's out of context. He explained that to us. We knew it was in his opinion. We showed that tonight. We backed him and we did what we asked. To be fair with you, show that on a more consistent basis. And to be fair, I think that's a lesson for Arteta to probably get a bit better in terms of being trained in the media, because I do think he's kind of struggled to articulate himself or say when to say and not say certain things, in my opinion, man. So it is, well, it is very much fighting talk from our gaffer, really and truly, you know, a lot of fighting talk. And he deserves that. Is what it is, man. What else are you lot saying? I can't stand his interviews. Can't blame you. What's your thoughts on next season? Do you believe in Arteta's plans for next season? Bro, I don't know what his plans are for next season. I don't know. I don't know. And this is true, Troy. People forget about Kroenke when Arsenal win. This is the underlying factor. My man needs to keep it moving. You know, needs to just keep it moving. Once we get rid of him, we can dream. But until then, it's all a myth, man. What have you said? Would you take a more attacking right back like Trent or a more defensive one like Wan-Bissaka? Or rather, the modern game's more of a Trent. So I'd say Trent. But it would be nice to have a defender that can actually defend either or. Really, you know, just someone that can be a consistent face at right back so that I can stop having 10 players that can fight for right back, but no one's locking it down. You know, Kroenke out 100% each and every time. I feel like Willian's scared to play against Chelsea, where he has been against Chelsea. I haven't seen him play once. I don't know if that's true, but he just didn't come off the bench, in my opinion. Who knows? There could be truth to that, man. What else, man? Let's get one more question in, people. Let's get one more question in. Get one more question in, people, please, before I get out of here. So, yeah. Any truth in claims of big investment this summer? Please make sure you're checking out the pinned message in my description for information for the advert you just saw. I don't know. I'm going on what you lot are going for, man. You know, I have to go on what I've seen in the past, in that bullish talk met with bearish actions. So, you know, seeing is believing. If they do the job, it is what it is. You know, next season, depends on the players who go out and who come in. Again, I have no doubt in the selection and I have doubt in the team selection and consistency. Fair play. With fans coming back next season, do you feel that it might be a bit of a risk keeping Arteta due to the abuse he will receive? Probably not. You know, if the only abuse or criticism you get is because of what you're doing or not doing, really. So it's as simple as that, really. Calls out Pepe against Leeds, then doesn't keep the same energy with Xhaka when he gets sent off against Burnley. So everything he says can be taken out of context. Can't disagree with that, even though I think that's harsh. Don't think Arteta planned to play that deep against Chelsea, though. With luck, it worked. 9 out of 10 times Chelsea would have had us. True. I think he did, because why would you try and play further up the field? It'd be sending little untrained Giselles into the wild with a bunch of hungry lions that ain't it. You'd get slaughtered. So I think it takes a degree of humbleness as a manager to say, you know what, we'll react to what the other team's doing. The problem is we do that too often, man. I'd say neither, man. I'd say neither. I'm looking ahead to next year, DG. How long do you think Arteta has? I say November, December. Well, if he carries on with what he's been carrying on with, like you said, you know, probably he won't make it out of the year if he continues with that. So he spoke about preseason. He needs to damn well know exactly what he wants to do in that regards, man. So it is what it is. But on that note, people, I'm going to be on Rance's show later, so I need to go have something to eat and freshen up. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Q&A day tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. I'll do the members Q&A. Shout out to everyone. Once again, sorry, Troy, for getting at you as well. You didn't deserve that. Hopefully, it's no hard feelings. So, yeah, man, I'm going to catch you lot in a bit, people.